Welcome back to the Author Spotlight series of the Book Boss Academy, where we shine a light on the stories behind the stories. Today, I'm joined by the incredible Norah Deay, an endlessly creative and witty, multi-passionate author who published everything from cozy mystery, word search books to affirmational writing journals and even a modern rewrite of Heidi. I know, right? We talk about writing later in life, her journey through multiple countries, how self-publishing reignited her creative spark, and why you don't have to be tech-savvy or professional to be a successful author. Norah's story proves it's never too late to start, and it's always worth it to keep going. This is your host, Agnes B., your no-fluff business consultant, all about feminine leadership and creating a life you always dreamt about. You are listening to the Author Spotlight series of the Book Boss Academy, founded by Abby Cornell. Please help me welcome Norah Deay.
Hey, Norah, I love to have you here. How are you? Hi, Agnes. Oh, it's lovely to see you. Always. Always. But as I always say, I love all the Hungarians I've ever met. All two of them. But
It almost sounded like a compliment.
it's true, though.
Love it.
Anyway, how are you?
Thank you. And you are tuning in from
Ireland.
Iceland.
In the sunny southeast.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So,
Have you been always living there?
God, no. Well, I started off not too far away from here, but I live in County Carlow now. I used to be in Wicklow. And then when I was, oh God, look, okay, so left home, married, divorced, went to London, 4 years in London, back to Ireland for 3, I think, off to the Netherlands for 2, back to Ireland for 3, and then, oh no, back to London for 3, then back to Ireland for 3, and then off to New Zealand for 12. And then I'm back here since 2017. Yeah.
Almost like my life, right? It's like Hungary, Germany, England, Germany again, France again.
It's like that kids game where you've got to go back and touch home before you go off again.
I love it, exactly.
Yeah.
When did you fall in love with books? I know there was a point where you have 140 plus books.
Oh, yeah. So I, up until recently, I had 100. I'd already got rid of about 40. So I discovered self-publishing. And then I discovered, way before AI, I discovered coloring books and how to create my own coloring book, and not painstaking with Photoshop and all these things. You know, yeah, all that.
4 days.
Right. And then so I had all these, really, they weren't great quality. You know, they just weren't. So I got rid of a lot of those. And then lately I got rid of a lot of, because what I did was I had journals. And so I published the same journal, but I could have 5 or 6 different covers. So, I mean, honestly, none of them were really great. The journal was fine, but the actual covers weren't. Did some for my grandchildren, you know, with their photos on the front of them and things like that. And that was really cool. But I started. I've always read. You could say that it was the writing was literally in my blood. And when I say literally, I mean literally, because I used to eat paper. And myself and my sister, and we ran out of paper one night in bed. We ran out of paper. So we turned on our prayer books And we started to write down prayer books. Flimsy little baby. And the next minute, the door opened, and this very tall woman, dressed head to toe in black, with a big rosary beads hanging around her neck, walked in. She was my aunt. First time we'd ever met her, and she was a nun. And I swear I've still got goosebumps. We were sure God had sent her to punish us for reaching our prayer books. So yes, so that was that. And honestly, I read. I didn't do anything else. I was not sporty. Now I know I have ADHD. There is a possibility there could be a bit more there because I was very withdrawn. All I wanted was my books. So, everyone else would be outside playing cowboys and Indians and never left my desk, So I was happy. So anyway, then, so all through. And then I started writing. It just seemed logical. So I was 9, I think, and we got a punishment at school. That's a long story. I won't say why, but anyway, everybody did the same wrong thing with an essay. And the punishment was that we would, during the upcoming Easter holidays, we would write a story, but it had to fill a copybook. And I don't know if there was anyone else. There were 2 classes, and I don't know if there was anyone else in those classes who could not wait. Yes. And I couldn't. And he gave us the best one was to get a prize, and I won 10 shillings, which was £0.50 for people who don't know. And that was an awful lot of money 50 years ago. Oh, more, 55 years. So, so from then on, I used just to write and write and write. And every now and again, I'd win something for a letter or, short story or something like that. And then I stopped. I just didn't write anymore. I'd sit down and just couldn't because there was so much else going on that it just sucked the creativity out of me. And for years, the best part of 30 years, I would say, I want to write, and I love writing. When I'd be all this, couldn't do it, couldn't put anything together that sounded anyway good. But I did a few writing classes when I was in London the second time, and I did write something there that sort of, gosh, I haven't lost it, And then again, something else went wrong, and that went to New Zealand, and New Zealand's wonderful. I feel like maybe it's because it's so far away. You find yourself, the real you, when you're not conditioned you're not around everything that has conditioned you.
I have this idea about this actually, because I lived abroad a lot of times as well, right? And when you are born in, doesn't matter how we want to call it, in a social class, right? And your parents and the environment and the community where you are in puts you somewhere into that ladder, right? And then you move abroad and you need to find your own place, and you can go further down and you can go further up as your usual. But I think moving abroad, especially alone, right? It gives you such a new plate to work with, right? It's beautiful. I think you can't do anything better for yourself than to try yourself out in a brand new environment. It's fascinating.
Freedom. It just gives you freedom that, I was an awful wuss here. Like, as I said, I never did any sports or I never did anything dangerous or anything like that. But over there, I didn't drive, but I did. I sat in a car to do burnouts at Speedway one night. Up there. I thought, "Oh, that was really scary. There was flames at my heels. Um, I climbed rocks. I did all like I did things that I never thought that I know I wouldn't have done, you know. But then this whole different life, and there's so much creativity over there, in a very um real way. Like people seem to make art for the sake of the act, not just, oh, look at me, how great I am. Or I want to sell this, or what I mean, like everywhere, bridges, and there's nothing ugly, it's really lovely. There's the most wonderful public toilets in, in a little town north of Auckland. And it's just completely covered in shells everywhere. It's just, that's what I mean. It's just for the sake of the art. Anyway, I joined the Romance Writers Association on New Zealand. It's affiliated with Australia and America. And I, I said to my ex one time that I was going to write a romance novel, and he said, I thought you had to write what you knew about. I'm not very romantic. But thankfully, you didn't have to. You could write on, they had all sorts of writers. And it was wonderful, really being around all these people and going to conferences. And oh gosh, there was the guy who wrote The Hero's Journey. He rewrote it, for today. And then Randy Ingermanson, who he's another really famous name in writing, and all these people, and it was so cool. And I just became enthused. And then I did an online course about writing your book in 30 days. And this was nonfiction. And so I wrote How to Become the Go-To Person, because I won a big award in musicians in my company. So I said, right, okay, so use what you know. And then he taught us how to get your book into a best-selling status. And so I did. It got to number one in its category. There's the clue. So I mean, nobody can take that away. I have a photo of the ball number one in its category. And then it just went from there. That still sells, not copy, that first one. And then I How to Get Your House Ready for Sale in 30 Days, which is basically a decluttering book that still sells. And have you heard of Project Gutenberg?
Yeah, they started to put books online.
So these books that have been 100 years, are over 100 years old, the majority of them will come out of copyright. Okay. And then they are free for anyone to do whatever they want. There was a horror movie, I think, that was based on Pride and Prejudice. I can't remember. Yeah, anyway, I loved Heidi when I was growing up.
Mhm.
So I got Heidi. I took Heidi and I rewrote it in plain English. Story's still the same. The words are just plain English. And that does really well. That's the one that's been selling now I think it's there 3 or 4 years now. But I did get a cover designed for that one. It looks lovely. And that was yeah. And then just lots of little things. I got published in an anthology, a Canadian anthology. And then when that was out of copyright, I just took it and took the short story out as well, took it out. And so there's lots of short stories, and they're free. I think I have to look for free on Amazon, yeah. And yeah, so I'm back to about, I don't know, 20, I think now. And that's basically my Amazon journey.
It's fascinating, isn't it? And this is the true passive income, isn't it? And although this is not your profession, so right?
No. I mean, I started, I was a secretary, I was a PA, I was an EA. I ended up in, well, I did real estate in New Zealand for 6 years. And I was a campaign manager there in that company. Um, I finished up with a financial services company.
Mm.
So I, in the end, and then came home and I've worked in some really cool places, just really good companies and um, all the rest. But when I came back here, I was 56. I think I was something like that, 56 or something. And I was like, no way am I having the computer say no. Like, because, you put in your CV, the algorithm, no matter how many jobs you leave off, it just seemed to know, you know, this is no spring chicken here. It's, I said, right, I'll be a virtual assistant. And there weren't any. I said, maybe there was one or two in the country, lots outside of Ireland, but not many here. Did quite well. Um, you know, I made a living. Then the writing was really pulling at me. And then I said, right, okay, I'll just change to things to do with books. So I edited a few. I, I edited a good bit actually. Um, and then I worked for people doing blog posts, doing, everything was about writing and stuff like that. So now I'm caregiver for my partner and I don't have an awful lot of time. I have two clients that I've had for years now. And um, one, I just look after her flights and travel and all that sort of stuff. And then the other one, I can give her a plug, is Awareness Days, awareness-days.co.uk. And, if you're ever stuck for anything for social media, if you go there, you'll find whatever day or days, because there's like nearly every day has several awareness days. And I update that website and do all that sort. I would just work hard. So still do, still writing and everything. And that's it, really. And then I'm just writing. I write all the time. I don't do anything else now.
I know that.
I
I
just,
just wanted to make the point that you don't need to be a professional anything, right? These are skills that you can learn.
oh God, no. Like some of the best, I was looking through, and that the other thing is the age. You know, age is never a barrier at all. When Mary Wesley seemingly was 70 when she wrote her first adult book, I was just looking through all these different people who were really old, like in their 60s. Little House on the Prairie, Laura Ingalls Wilder. She was in her 60s. But over this way, Catherine Cookson was a huge writer, like when I was in my teens and 20s and stuff. But she didn't start until she was 49. I remember that distinctly because I sort of held that number up in front of me saying, okay, I need to start by then. I need to get there. I need to do something by then. But so age is no barrier to writing at all.
Not at all.
If you can write a letter, you can write. Now, I know writing letters are, it's dying art today, but, we all still have to write, we never write an email or we have to write, to the energy company or whoever, you know what I mean? And so if you can do that, you can write. So the technicalities of writing easily mastered because there is so much out there now. You never even need to pay anybody because it's all on YouTube. It's there. I have several people that are my go-to people because they just short 10-minute YouTube videos about ADHD brain. Can't handle more than the 10 minutes. But they'll have about different aspects of writing, getting your plot right. But they don't do the whole, this is how you'd go to play, and they go all from A to Z. No, they'll go from A to B. And I'll come back from B to Z. So, yeah. And the one thing, I was thinking about this earlier, actually, and it hadn't occurred to me when I was writing the book. For young people especially, please don't depend on AI,
Mhm.
because not only will it be obvious for a start, and it'll be emotionless for a second. But if you're not using your brain, this is very dear to my heart. I'm on a mission about this. If people don't use their brain, they will lose their brain. The less you have to push yourself to think about or to do, if you've got, the robot there doing everything for you. And anyone who knows me will know I'm a huge advocate for AI. Like, it's fabulous for helping you to outline a book, for editing, for everything, but just make sure it's your ideas, that you have come up with the ideas, and that you are working your way through whatever, like, it can help you, but make sure it's only doing what you're telling it to do.
And you want to do it, right? I noticed that it can bring me into a spiral where I realize after an hour, it's like, oh, no, we are really far off from where we started, where we got started. And the other thing is that if it's not coming 100% from you, he will lose the idea. And then it's like, I can't remember that we had that in the book, right? But why do you put it into the summary? So you really need to pay attention. Otherwise, it makes mistakes.
Yeah. And do you know what? In a sense, that's a good thing,
Yes, exactly.
because it keeps you on your toes.
Exactly.
In the past couple of months, I've become so productive. It's just been amazing. We were going to do word search books in the Book Boss community.
Let's start there. Why have you joined the Book Boss Academy?
Well, there you go. I don't know how I found Abby, or Abby found me. I just don't know how. But suddenly I was all excited, because this woman actually seemed to know what she was talking about. She seemed very relatable, and there was no bullshit, So this was where, overall, that, and no false advertising.
Exactly.
It was one thing that has occurred to me several times when I see questions stuff is, I knew somebody one time, because I'm an infinite possibilities trainer, thoughts become things. And sorry, I didn't say that. Anyway, yeah, I am. And look, I manifested this house, my garden, that's all I wanted, my life, this writing life. When you manifest things, you don't get it all as you think you were going to get it, but you do the best you can with what you've got, and this is wonderful. So, but there was a person who said, but why do I have to act? If I believe that thoughts become things, will it not just come to me? Like, no, it doesn't work like that. You must, so long as you're prepared to put in the work, you're going to get the results that Abby's talking about, right? And sure, like, for me, this was just like manna from heaven. I was in my happy place, and still am. So inspired writing was the first book I did. And I had that as an outline anyway, and thought, yeah, okay, this is brilliant. I'm going to finish this book. And God, that was brilliant. I couldn't believe how well received that was. If anybody is watching this and hasn't read it,
Exactly.
please do, because if you read at least 12% of it, I get paid.
Love it.
Because that's what happens. It's not enough just to buy a book on Kindle.
Mm-hmm.
You must read at least 12-15% for the author to get paid.
Good to know.
So, yeah. But anyway, so I did that one. Then I did one about AI and images for beginners. That one. Because used to just drive me mad. So I did it's a very simple book. And then we were going to do word searches. And I don't know, this idea came to me that because I write cozy mysteries, right? I said, right, what happens if I write a story and after every chapter there can be a word search? And that's what I did. And then there's 4 of those, and I have a 5th that I haven't finished yet.
Mm.
That's the editing. That's
Is
where I'm
it?
at.
You know, right?
So anyway, I do that and get that one up because I like that number. I like to have 5. It just feels like 4 feels like there's an edge missing or something. Anyway, and that's doing really well. Now I've done one with Abby. We're doing colouring books.
I wanted to ask you, are you doing all of the, because guys, if you're listening, in the Book Boss Academy, we are doing, or Abby is doing every month, something a little bit different, right? So she's teaching us and she creates the trainings for all the different types of books which are selling really well. Or people are just interested in. So there were the research books, there were the would you rather books, there were now the coloring books and so on and so forth. Are you doing it every month? Are you doing the new thing?
I am. Abby has a Would You Rather book from me. I haven't, but she just will get around to it. And so that was that one. And now I keep trying to come up with what niche do I want my colouring books in? And I did a clean out of my computer at the weekend and I freed up, as I just looked today, 78 gig was free. And in the process, I found so many images, all colouring book pages like already there. And all I go is, I don't know. I don't know if I could do one book with just lots of the same style of things in it, and because the way I advertised the books previously when I did the colouring books for people with ADHD, by the time we get to the 3rd mandala, we're just like ready to call it a day. So we want things to change as we go along. So I think I'll just stick with that.
What if you do the mystery story, the word search, and an image?
I did think of that.
I would love that. That's so cool.
I actually did think of that. It would be easier to do too, but anyway, I'll see. I'll see. I do have one little plan that I might do. So I'll see. I'm so excited to do my accounts. I don't want to do them. I don't want to do them because I want to get started on the colouring books. So I promised myself I'd do another hour this afternoon and then I get started on the colouring books. So
you need to make yourself a deal with it.
I have to. Oh,
I love it. I love it. I love it. And I also love in the community, you are really active. And because of your background and past, you can help so much with techniques, the AIs, the different things and ideas. And I really love that you are so active in the community.
I love helping people. I just, honestly, and I used to get into trouble because, so why do you do this for nothing? Well, because I'm not actually out there doing. I can just help. So it's fun. It's like, I love it. There is something that has always been in me. When I was in the real estate, I used to look after the people who were starting, whether I was a mentor for the secretaries, but even the real estate agents, when they'd come in all brand new and everything else, I used to help those. I love to help people starting. So, if you're listening, give me a shout. Honestly, yeah, I have a writing group, on we're the mystical muse writers.
Okay. Do
So
tell.
that would sort of give an idea of the type of people we are. You know, it's not for everyone. Everybody in it is, well, I think the youngest is definitely maybe she's still in her 40s. I'm not sure, but the rest is definitely. So it's that sort of age group. All women who thought they might write. Some of them who only one came along just because her friend was coming, and she has turned into the most brilliant writer, and she didn't even know she could write.
Wow.
Another one is, I don't know, have you ever heard of Kathy Lett? She's Australian, and she's a very funny writer. She's a very slapstick sort of writer. I don't know how to explain her, but that's the type of writer she is. And this woman, she doesn't have a clue how good she is, but she's absolutely brilliant. And that's the type of writing she does. She just makes us, she has us in stitches every week. When we do it online, we have, when we get up, 4 a.m. from Australia. I
That's
know.
dedication. That's
Yeah.
dedication right there.
There's 2 from the US, and there's 2 in England. And then the rest, you know.
Do you have monthly goals, or how can we?
No, we chat for a while about what we've been doing, because everybody is creative. Everybody, like, there's artists, there's spiritual healer, there's different people doing different things. And so we talk about, we have the woman who I think is a brilliant writer, also started to do some pottery. And, like, swear to God, she's only been doing it like less than 6 months, and she's already having exhibitions of porcelain. I think she's amazing. So we have that, and then we have a prompt,
Okay.
and we write on the prompt for 20 minutes,
Okay.
and then we read if we want.
Mhm.
There's nobody is forced to, but most people do. And that's it then. But you always have that lovely feeling of having written.
Something, yeah, and that
You
as you
know,
mentioned that you had this urge, but you couldn't, and so on and so forth. So I imagine that brings that out.
yeah.
First.
And no matter, you can go 6 days in the week saying, oh, I should write something, but you know that on the 7th, you're going to write. So there is that. Yeah. So
I love that. Love that. These are the little tricks how you can keep going. And we have in the community every weekday the co-working session and co-writing sessions where we just meet, and something is always happening for an hour. Everyone is having this focused work, and doesn't matter what you work on. But it helped me as well to get into the schedule, right?
yeah. And plus, if you're stuck on something, or, whatever, if you need help with something, there's always somebody there to
chime in and help, or even just sometimes really saying out loud your ideas or what you were.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot.
Plus, when you're writing, when you're a writer, you don't walk out the door and meet others like you every day. So to get together for that hour with other people who are like you,
Yeah.
like-minded people, it's just because doing what I do, my world feels small at times. It's a real savior for me.
Yeah.
I love
that. Do you have any of your hard copies there with you now?
There's
Show me.
that inspired writing.
Yeah, that's what I read as well. Yes.
And my mum doesn't. We discovered late in life that she reads the last page. But she reads the first page, reads the last page, and then she flicks through bits in the middle. But she actually
reading, huh?
she was reading. Oh, actually, yeah, that's the inspired writing notebook. So that's got affirmations and encouragement, stuff like that. So this is Murder at the Village Fair, right? So this is the where I went. Yeah, there. So it's large print. This is what she's reading this. This is what I was going to say. She's reading this, and she's going to bed early, so she can read it and can't wait for the next chapter. And the reason she really likes it is because it's large.
It's large print. Show
Yeah.
us. Can you show us? Just open it up. How
Oh
it
yeah, sure. See,
Mhm.
there you go. And then the way it works then is yeah. Oh, there's one. Yeah. So get to the end of the chapter, and the word search is there beside it. But there's somebody in the group the other day, and this one is another one. This is Murder at the Harvest Festival. Yeah, but somebody in the group the other day said that her 9-year-old son is loving it. So I said, right, okay, because my mother's 88, 9 to 90.
There you go, the marketing.
That's cool.
I love that. Maybe you can write for kids then as well.
I think that's better. Yeah. I used to. I used to write like Enid Blyton.
Mhm.
You know, those little stories. That was what I wrote way back when I won that money. It was The Mystery of Seesaw House. Just like, a group of children, solve a mystery. It's like Enid Blyton.
Love it, love it, love it.
Oh, I disappeared somewhere. So,
So a lot of things. So basically, if there is one thing what you want people to take away with, what would that be from this conversation?
um, you're a writer if you want to be.
Ooh. Okay.
And then, it took me years to actually say to anyone, I write, I'm a writer, no problem now, and it's not just because I've published, because what happened, in the times when I wasn't writing, I was afraid to say I was a writer, even though, like, you'd always still have the things in your head. Anyone who is a writer, okay, will hear a really sad story or a bad story or something, and they can't just hear it and, let it go. No, they start thinking, oh, what if suddenly it's been turned into a story? Or what could I do that? Could I sell that? Could I sell that? But there is a thing that says that, if you look at a writer's browsing history, the mushroom lady would have nothing on them. The thing is, don't put it up for the perfect time if you want to write. Just keep a notebook somewhere. Just write a sentence every now and then. You don't have to have a set time. You don't have to have a routine, especially if you have ADHD, because that's not going to work for us at all. Do it when you feel like it. People, talk about, oh God, I couldn't write a book when it takes so long or whatever. You write a book in a series of sprints. It's not a marathon.
I agree.
And you don't have to do that. So just be kind to yourself. That's what happens. People are really hard on themselves.
Exactly. And this is what you talk about in the inspired writing yours. Yes.
Yeah. You don't have to do it. So, and there's lots of little prompts and stuff in there. But just to give yourself a little smile, you're smiling inwardly as you think, do this now, whenever now is. So, and if there's something that's going wrong in your life, you can always write it out.
Oh yeah, true. Like journal it out, even if you don't share it with it. Age is not an excuse.
Age is not an excuse.
Busyness is not an excuse. I will start one day is not an option anymore. How about tech? How do you feel like the way how Abby teaches it or how you did it back in the days? Although you are techie, right? As a virtual assistant, you do.
Oh, I was a geek. I'm still a geek. I love tech. Now, here's the thing. Everybody does. You don't have to take, like, Abby got me. She loves all the programs and everything else. But you know what? One of the things about not being techie is it saves you a lot of money. And it's just like, that's the worst thing. Don't go running off with getting all the bells and whistles because they're not necessary. So if we need something for, like, ChatGPT now can cover most bases. Like, it's doing images. It costs €20
Something like that, yes.
a month. Well, if you just spend that, you really don't need to do anything else. Like, that was like if you're doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
You really don't. It's just the fact that we love the blooming stuff that we want to know it all.
Yeah.
But there's only ever going to be like 10 or 20% of people who want to know it all.
Yeah, yeah. And we do have in the community ladies who are not tech savvy. In one of our sessions, our weekly sessions, and she was like, Agnes, I'm learning this all. Do I need to? Do I have to? I'm like, listen, if this is your one book that you want to write and you are done, then you don't necessarily need to go into that. But if you want to, I really recommend you to go into the platform first and learn.
Oh, yeah. It's learn the stuff. It's there.
Make your life easier at the end. But not as you say.
I mean, it's all there. It's not there's no courses that you have to buy or anything like that. Your membership, which is really low anyway, it covers it. So, like, all the information is there. But even if you don't want to do that, if you just want to write a book, if you just want to write, but I won't say get a notepad and pen because then you've got to transcribe it all over onto something else anyway. Word. Yes. Google Docs.
Yeah. Google Docs, and then you download it into PDF, and there you go, right? So it's really, yeah.
It shouldn't be frightening. And anyway, even if it is, there's enough people in the group to help. So
fabulous. Thank you very much for being here. We will share all of your links everywhere so people can find your books and find you on Amazon and follow. I reviewed one of your books, and after that, it was so lovely. And one of the mornings, I just received an email from Amazon with your beautiful picture and the books, what you published. And I'm like, yeah, I know her, right? It's just such a feeling.
I know that is another thing. If anybody has an Amazon account, make sure you get an Amazon also page. Yeah. So people can follow you and know when you have something new out.
You can build up a quote-unquote portfolio and passive income in long term for sure, right? But it's not a get rich quick.
But I don't know if you've seen like a couple of posts I put up lately. For years, I was getting less than $10 every month. Now, I'm thrilled to see this. Oh, God, some people are picking up what I'm putting down. I was delighted. Oh, my God, this month.
Yeah.
So much more. And actually, last month. And now this month, again, the sales are just going. So, yeah, it's a numbers game, really.
It is, isn't it? Yes, obviously. And Abby teaches the research, right? What most of us don't really like, but it's so necessary.
Yeah. So, all right.
There you go. Thank you very much. It was lovely talking to you. And if you are listening, join us. Yes, this is how amazing members we have in the community as well. There is always someone for a pep talk or someone to talk to, ask a question. And we would love to have you. Thank you, Norah, for being here. And have
a nice day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.